welcome you to Play PS5, the podcast, or wait, Play PSVR. You know what? We're just going to play with each other all podcast. Alex, I am very glad that you were so near to me tonight. I love it when you get close and near to my heart, you know?
I feel like I heard that joke on like 5 podcasts this week.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah.
I didn't listen to it once. Let's redo this, because now I don't want to be one of those guys who steals jokes.
Are you talking about we're doing another playthrough of the intro?
No. But I will say, I do love me some Nier. That is my personal play of the week. It's not our podcast play of the week, but I'm excited. Alex, we got tons of games to talk about. Of the future content that the listeners are about ready to listen to, if you had to hype them up for one mini segment, one conversation, one game, what do you think they should stick all the way through the end for? What is the one conversation you're most excited for?
The outro, just to see whatever joke you're going to come up with, Adam. No, seriously. Nier Replicant, our discussion of Nier Replicant is probably going to be the best thing we talk about, just because I'm so excited about Nier. You're so excited about Nier. That enthusiasm bleeds through. That being said, that's not all we're going to talk about this week, Adam, right?
Absolutely. We've got PSVR. So this is the first time we've actually done a podcast that we share things for both podcasts. So we are going to mush them together. I also think, unfortunately, PSVR is getting a short end of the stick. Second segment, we are going to talk about Returnal. And that is another game, another discussion you're going to want to like sit around for, because it is, dude, I was excited for Nier Replicant, but my levels of ecstasy for Returnal they're jumping fast. It's everything I'm reading is just layered on the excitement. I'm excited. I'm just excited. That second segment. So yeah, at least got to wait that long. But how do you want to start this puppy off, Alex?
How do we start it, Adam? We start it the same way every single time. It's talking about gamer juice, baby. So listen, I want to forget whatever stupid coconut oil, semen extract juice you're drinking this week. I went to the mall today.
No come and go.
No come and go. No, I mean, I did literally go to the come and go today, but didn't get gamer juice there.
That is not what I thought you were going to say.
No, I went to the mall. They have a candy store, and in the candy store, they have special drinks or whatever. And at first, I was like, I'm going to get the coffee soda. That's going to be funny. But no, they have literal gamer juice. This is Resident Evil juice, T-Virus Antidote. A bit topical. Resident Evil 8 is on a lot of people's wish list. They played the demo and stuff.
Dude, I like that can. That's a sweet can.
Yeah, we didn't play the demo because we are kind of nonplussed by Resident Evil 8 because it's not a VR title, right? Am I right, Adam?
My feelings are hurt.
You know, before I get into how this tastes, because I haven't tried it yet, Adam, I want to know, everybody seems obsessed with how sexy that tall lady is in Resident Evil 8. Do you think she's sexy? Resident Evil Village Lady Dimitrescu? Were you aroused by how large she is?
No, I call her Big Booby Ruby, first of all.
You do call her Big Booby Ruby.
I do call her Big Booby Ruby, and I don't understand, she looks like a freaking corpse. Dude, give me some Cindy Aram, man. Get Big Booby Ruby out of here. She looks dead.
So I do want to say, we forgot to do a Sweet 16 of PS5 ladies, like we did last time for the PSVR.
I'm ashamed. That was one. So, should it just be late?
So our misogyny is overdue. So in lieu of doing that, wow, this looks like blood or something like that. Yeah.
I mean, it's Resident Evil. It would have to be,
it's
right?
It's a T-Virus antidote. Although I wish I could have the T-Virus, but just for the hangdown. Not for the whole body. Does it say,
like, is it cherry or strawberry?
No, it's T-Virus antidote. They don't say what there's ingredients, obviously, they have to. High fructose corn syrup is number 2 on the list.
I mean, I'm talking about the flavor. Just drink it and tell me what the flavor is.
Well, it says not recommended for women who are nursing, which is probably that's probably my most alarming contraindication here.
Is it because of high caffeine, maybe?
Probably.
Oh, it's better. You just bean-boozled yourself by getting a gamer juice. What's the best?
It's not great. I'll be honest. It's not great. It just tastes like what you would expect a video. There's somebody who walks into a store and is like, I want juice for like somebody who likes Resident Evil. All right. I like zombies. And they give you a drink. It tastes like what you think that would taste like.
I mean, you know how they had the candle that smelled like a Resident Evil 7? You know, like just a damp basement and stuff. Is this like a novelty, like, oh, drink it, it's Resident Evil, or they actually try, because they also have
No,
Rick
it's
and
not.
Morty energy drinks, and
I
those
almost
taste
got one
good.
of those. Those were there. This is
Hmm.
not trying to taste like zombie blood or something. This is like you think you're tough because you play a zombie game, but you're not very tough. So we have to make sure you still drink this drink. So it's very palatable. It's super sweet. I don't like that it's that sweet. I almost wish it tasted like blood, like V8 or something like that. Like that would be
Mm.
great. If this is V8 plus caffeine, that would have been so cool. But no, this is just straight up Red Bull with some red coloring and a Resident Evil label slapped on it, and it makes my stomach hurt already.
Oh.
Um, oh,
All right. Well, while
yeah.
you
What's your
deal with
gamer juice? I'm
that,
sorry, we spent way too much time on that. What's your gamer juice,
well,
Adam?
it was an interesting pick. So I have two because this is going to be a long podcast, folks. Settle in because there's just too much content. The first thing I got a Yoo-Hoo. I think it is a very underappreciated drink. It's just chocolate milk, but that's glass, baby, not that Snapple bull crap that now they're actually giving plastic bottles. So Yoo-Hoo down the hatch.
You who is what Adam ironically says to all the boys at the swimming pool, which I just found out because the pool's open back up, and Adam's been going swimming a lot lately. And you getting any hollowbacks, Adam?
I still wear a mask when I swim.
You wear a mask, but it's down low.
Okay, I want to listen about the Powerade play of the week because I think this is going to be an intriguing discussion. I want you to convince me to play this game.
Yeah, so Power A play of the week. Thank you, Power A, for supporting our podcast. How very minimally you did. I still use your headset holder. Power A play of the week this week is ALTDEUS Beyond Chronos by the developer slash publisher My Dearest Inc. ALTDEUS Beyond Chronos, you might not know it from the title. Little bit of a hint there is, oh crap, what was that game called? I had it on the tip of my tongue. There was a game with the name Chronos in the title that they just made. This is a sequel to that game, but a spiritual sequel in the sense to where you don't have to have played the prior game. This is a visual novel in VR. So, Adam, have you ever played a visual novel? Do you know what I'm talking about? When I say a visual novel, do you know what I'm talking about?
I am. One of my favorites was oh dang it. I remember talking about on Play PSVR, the podcast. It was about the little bird and it oh, this is gonna kill me. You continue talking, I'm gonna look up the name of it.
I know what game you're talking about. I forget the name. I don't think it's the same thing you're talking about. Visual novel. It's a game that has a lot of dialogue. They can be relatively passive. A lot of reading going on, a lot of characters, and the primary focus is the story. Historically, these games have been really represented on consoles like the Vita, maybe the PlayStation 4 a little bit, but they typically are represented by like good character drawn art, 2D art, and then a lot of dialogue that pops up on the screen. So you just see like a 2D drawing of a character pop up on the screen, the dialogue they're saying, then the 2D drawing of the next character pop up on the screen, dialogue they say. Well, this company, My Dearest Inc., they've released, this is their second game now, VR visual novels. And you wouldn't think that a visual novel needs that much enhancement in VR, but it really does add enhancement because instead of just having a 2D sprite pop up and then have some dialogue, maybe their face changes or something like that. Instead, you are in a room with the character. So there's a little bit of 3D representation. So although it's just people talking to you for the most part in this game, there's a spatial realization there. They're around you. They turn to look to you. They look to each other, things like that, and it's really appreciated. You feel like you're there. So before I get too far into what the gameplay mechanics are like, I'll just kind of set the scene for the game. Dive 300 years into the future of Tokyo. ALTDEUS Beyond Chronos is a sci-fi adventure full of robot battles, pop music, and emotion. It features 15 to 20 hours of gameplay, kind of, with one of the largest branching storylines ever in a VR game. Become Chloe, a mecha pilot who will have her revenge and annihilate the Meteora once and for all. Pilot a giant mecha and make decisions to determine humanity's future. Explore new choices to uncover new branches of the story and discover all of ALTDEUS' endings. So there you go, right there. The primary gameplay of a visual novel is the choices that you make when you go through the story. Now, they've incorporated a little bit of gameplay in terms of you are a mecha pilot. Think Neon Genesis Evangelion. You are inside a giant mech. You're fighting aliens who are invading Earth. And you have minimal interaction, as in you're going to have buttons pop up on your screen, and it's going to say touch here, put your hands here to charge. You're using the move controllers to put your hands here to charge, and then you grab two parts of a gun and put them together, and they charge up, and you shoot some alien. Listen, it's not difficult. This isn't a first-person shooter. It's just motions you go through to feel like you're piloting a mech, and it goes a long way. The crux of the story is that you're on Earth. Everybody lives underground in like a virtual Tokyo that is a representation of the Tokyo that you were in the prior game where you were solving some murder mystery about who killed your friend. In this game, you are living in this underground virtual Tokyo because everybody's afraid of these aliens called meteoras that come and attack Earth periodically. You're part of a team who fights these meteoras in giant mechs. There's a lot of like Greek mythology tied into it, although I haven't really, full disclosure, I haven't completely finished the game, but I've played a good chunk of it. That Greek mythology ties into it on a very basic level. You have some main characters here. You have a blind girl who lives or who sits in a wheelchair. Her name's Chloe Kokonoe. She's kind of a rich, prestigious family. You're hired as her bodyguard. You are a genetically engineered bodyguard, and you become friends with this Chloe Kokonoe character who early on in the game gets eaten by one of these aliens. And so now you have a personal vendetta against the aliens, and the whole game is about how are you going to extract your revenge on these aliens. Are you going to follow the procedures of your team, the team who are fighting the aliens? Are you, and try to preserve one of the aliens so you can study them? Or are you going to obliterate the aliens because you're upset and, oh my God, what happens when you shoot one of the aliens and suddenly it's a giant version of Chloe or of Coco Kokonoe?
So is this like Detroit Become Human or Until Dawn where you choose different paths that your character takes?
It is in the sense that you're choosing stuff. Like that's the similarity. But I've played games like Detroit Become Human, and Until Dawn. Those are like they're kind of like just video games that have choices. This is just a story that you're more or less taking part in, and you make choices. Every once in a while here and there.
So will it determine the outcome of the game?
It will determine the outcome of the game, but this game has a mechanism called Ariadne, where you can time travel back to a prior chapter and then play through that chapter again and then spiral off to the next segment of the story. So it kind of alleviates the stress of having to replay the story over and over again. You can go to, the branching path and go back to it and then try again to see what else is happening there.
Nice.
Yeah. I will say the story is certainly interesting. I'm getting heavy Attack on Titan vibes. Adam, I know you have no idea what Attack on Titan is.
That's a lie. A coworker paid me to watch it.
Did you watch it?
I watched about 8 episodes.
All right. That's about how much I watched. Yeah.
Oh, boom. There we go. I'm on the same level, baby.
All right. Hey, we're on the same page. Yeah, it's a lot like it feels exactly like Attack on Titan, especially because here's the one element that confuses me about visual novels and just Japanese media in general. Is you'll have something like this where there's like crazy stuff going on, but nobody wants to ask the big question. Like in Attack on Titan, you have these giant humans that are attacking the city, right? Mm-hmm. And to me, the big question is like, how the hell do these humans get so giant? Are they humans? Like, what the hell is going on?
Where are their genitals?
Yeah, where are their genitals? And
that's the big question. I want to know.
Maybe the biggest question because of how big their genitals would be, and they're not there. But exactly,
they're swinging a sledgehammer between their legs, and it's gone.
Yeah. You're wondering where that building fell down. It's because a dude's dong was slinging. No, but that's seriously, that's the thing. Is in this game early on, you suddenly see a gigantic version of this pivotal character pops up, and every character is like, how do you feel about that? The big question right now is, how do you feel about that? No, that's not the big question right now. The big question right now is, how the hell did that character get that big? And what the hell does it mean that people can be that big? But this happens in Japanese media all the time where they sidestep the question. And to me, that is a bad part of the storytelling, where it's just like, you need to give me some justification to believe that everybody's cool with the fact that physically there's a gigantic human And instead, we've all decided that we're worried about the emotions of the gigantic human. So that kind of stuff bothers me in this kind of game, where we're not worried about like really scientific biological components, logical components. Instead, we're worried about really pushing that story forward. Now, that's not to say the story's not interesting. I'm very interested. I want to know what happens here, regardless of the fact that I might not get a good explanation of like, why the hell are we getting a giant version of Coco Kokonoe instead of just an explanation? Cool. I'll find out why. But I would like to know, it would be really nice if there was a logical reason why when a human gets sucked up into a meteor, they become a giant human, which is what happened in this game early on. So Adam,
at this point, I feel like you have described kind of the gameplay mechanics, the fact that it's a visual novel.
Yeah.
So I'm on board with that stuff. I think you explained it well. Now I am a person who I am not that interested in visual novels. Japanese stuff makes me feel weird because it's weird. And at this point, I, as a consumer, would probably not purchase this game for $30 and play it. Yeah. As you have played it and you are enjoying it, I want you to attempt to convince me, or at least put some nuggets in my mind that are would make me think, maybe I should try to give it a shot.
So I'll try to attack this problem as you, Adam, as you. So the game is $30, right? If you're looking for a good story, they say it's 15 to 20 hours. Really, it's like 5 to 10 hours in terms of length of the game, how much time you're probably going to devote to it to get all of it done. Maybe you super love it and you want to platinum it. And you want to find every strawberry in every scene that you're looking in. It's not super exciting, but you might get super excited about that. That might take 20 hours. But it's really like 5 to 10 hour game, something like that. You're watching a movie, a long movie.
Okay, which is good. You don't want to watch a 20-hour movie.
Right, and that's the thing. Yeah. $30, that's not a bad price point. I believe the game that came, it's called like Tokyo Chronos Project or something like that. It came before. It was a $50 game for a visual novel. It's a long game. I got headaches wearing the VR headset that long. This isn't that long, which is cool. I'm all right with it. But speaking to you, Adam, I know you love Kingdom Hearts. You say Japanese stuff is weird. Kingdom Hearts is like the most Japanese game you can get.
Oh, that's not true at
all.
And
you can look past the inanities of the story of Kingdom Hearts and still enjoy it. Well, guess what? This is a game that has less inanities and it's a better story. It's more focused on the story.
Well, you use a word that people know.
So Kingdom Hearts just like throws stupid stuff out there. Like there's literally
a nonsensical remark or action. There's not. I'm not getting into this Kingdom Hearts with you. Okay.
Kingdom Hearts is literally nonsensical. There's no reason why Disney's involved with it. Anyways, this is a bit less nonsensical. All right. This is a bit less nonsensical. And the Japanese thing, since you think what's your name from Kingdom Hearts is so sexy, at least
I never said that.
At least the girls in this are of age. So that makes more sense for why you would enjoy it. No, but seriously, you enjoy these complex plot lines that seem to have a focus on the characters and maybe less of a focus on the logic of the story, which isn't a bad thing. It's just a different type of storytelling people enjoy. This is that kind of game. A lot of Japanese visual novels are that kind of game where characters are first and the logic of the story is secondary as a means to progress characters. So that's why I think you might really like something like this. You might get annoyed at the moments where you're sitting around with a VR headset on, looking around at character and pointing. You're really just hitting buttons so that they keep talking, which is what visual novels are. But I think in the end, you would really enjoy the story and you would enjoy some of the mind effery that can take place with these kind of stories. So that's where it sits. Whether that's worth $30 to you, to me, it's like you're buying like a Blu-ray DVD of a movie. So it's not the worst deal. It'd be $15 to go see a movie in VR equivalent in a theater or something like that. So it's not the worst deal, but it's a visual novel. If you've played a visual novel, you know how you feel about it, then you know how you're going to feel about this. It's not the best visual novel ever. It's not the worst visual novel ever. And I'll even say I kind of like it. There's weird writing, but the voice acting is pretty good, which is a lot more than you can say for most visual novels. It's in English, and you can dig that too. So, Adam, I know you're never going to play it because it's $30 and you're the cheapest man alive. are like, is there an enhanced intrigue for you for this kind of game?
Well, because you mentioned there's some potential mind effery. I would much rather watch a novel than read a novel. So
Yep.
there, I have that going for me.
Yeah.
It has to be at a discounted price. I'm not going to pay $30. You're right. So
Fair
at
enough.
what price point would you advise me, Alex, to purchase this game? And maybe even some of the listeners as well, not just playing to my strength.
If you're a visual novel fan, certainly pick it up, especially because we don't have many in VR, and this is a good one. Like, thank God the 2 visual novels we have in VR are good. So definitely, if you're a visual novel fan. If you're not a visual novel fan and you're kind of curious about visual novels, I would say $14.99, $19.99, that kind of price range right there. You see it on sale in that range, then go for it because you're curious about it. Adam, you're not going to touch the game if it's not $4.99. But I seriously, I really think given like the dearth of PS5 games we have, and like knowing that there's not tons of games out there right now on the PS5 to play, if the game was like $9.99, I think you should probably look into it. It's going to be like, if you don't have much to do on a weekend, you could get it all done on a weekend, and then you just have it in your back pocket. That's the good thing about these kind of games is you've gone through a whole story now. It's in your pocket. You can think about it, and you can enjoy it years from now thinking about like, oh, that was a fun game. That was an interesting story. Like even subpar visual novels stick with me just because it's like a book that I've read now when I get done with it.
Yeah, I love it.
Okay. Thank you for enduring that with me, Adam. It's really hard to explain, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it definitely piqued my interest a little bit. What piqued my interest a lot, though, is Nier freaking Replicant. Oh my. So I played Nier Automata for the first time. We talked about this, I believe, on Play PS5 podcast. I feel like there was something where we played whole games and like we just chatted about it or something,
Yeah.
but I don't remember if that was one of those. But regardless, I love Nier Automata. My favorite individual game of all time. Just I don't want to go off into a tangent. Absolutely incredible. If you haven't played it, regardless of whether you played Replicant, which is the original game, and Automata is a sequel, Automata is so good. So I was pumped for Replicant because this, I think, is, I don't remember if you spurred me to play Automata, or you've definitely told me that you have played Replicant before in some capacity, said it would be something I would be interested in. So have you beaten the game? I don't remember. I know it was what, a PS2 game or PS3?
It was a PS3/Xbox 360 game. And even that right there is kind of a confusing element because when it came out in Japan, I think it was an Xbox 360 game, but there was a PS3 version that was called like Nier Gestalt. And here's where it already starts to get weird. At the original iteration of the game, I think on Xbox 360, you played as like an old man and you were protecting your daughter. On PlayStation 3, you played as like a young boy and you were protecting your sister. And I know in this version, you're the young boy protecting your sister, but it's just already Yoko Taro has had this weirdness going on in the game where some people get to play as like a man protecting his daughter. Some people get to play as a young man protecting his sister. And it changes the dynamic of the game, at least story-wise for me, wildly. But I played it on the PlayStation 3 as an old man protecting his daughter. So now coming back to the PlayStation 4 version, the remaster, now I'm going to be playing for the first time as a young man protecting his young sister. So they're taking care of his young sister, however you want to describe it. But yeah, I don't even remember how we got onto playing Nier Replicant. I don't know what it was that spurred you to finally do it. I probably would have always said, yeah, let's do it. Let's play it. But I don't know why you finally decided to pull the trigger on that game of all games.
I think it was definitely something that was on my radar because I heard that it had a bunch of mind F moments. And then there was definitely a point where we didn't have any games to play. And so I was like, oh, Automata, it's like $20. I'll try it. And then it effing waylaid me from like the first hour. So I kind of want to compare the two. We're not going to go too far deep into this. It's just both games. I've played about 5 hours of Replicant. I've played Automata for hours and hours. So the first thing, what you mentioned about the father and the daughter, and now as I'm playing this with the brother helping the sister, it's very intriguing because it totally changes the dynamic. Because if I remember correctly, you were mentioning like when you first had your kid, it was like a moment where, I don't know, there was a connection that you obviously wanted to help your real life daughter in any way you can, and now you have this game and you feel like an added connection where you probably wouldn't feel that now that you are playing as a brother trying to save your sister, right?
Yeah, I mean, I played it just as a video game before I ever had kids. Then when I, on the verge of having my first child, I decided this is like the stupidest, nerdiest thing in the world. I'm going to play fatherhood games. And so I played like Walking Dead season 1, which has like fatherhood vibes. I started playing Last of Us, which has fatherhood vibes. And I played this, which has definite fatherhood vibes when you play as the old man protecting his daughter. And so I haven't started Nier Replicant yet. I bought it today, so I haven't touched it yet. I'm glad you've touched it so we can talk about it. But you're right. It certainly, especially in playing it the second time on the verge of having my first child, it certainly, I can understand the feeling of like, listen, you are a man at the end of the world. You're the man at the end of the world's rope, and you have a daughter who is sick, and you are willing to do everything and anything to see that she gets better. And that was certainly something that I kind of started connecting with after my daughter was born. I connect with now. And as a sibling, I have a brother. I love my brother, but I certainly would not put myself in harm's way for my brother in the same way that I'd put myself in harm's way for my daughter.
Yeah, it's a much, I mean, it's still a strong bond, but it has to be a much weaker bond, which makes me intrigued why they chose to go the brother-sister route.
Yeah, and I certainly don't know the difference. And so that's what has me intrigued for Nier Replicant is like, why is this the canonical take on the story? Why is this the take that Yoko Taro took as like, this is really what this game is about? How do you feel? I mean, you don't have any kids. How do you feel about, the brother? Maybe that's the whole point, is that he knew people playing this game might not have kids, so they wouldn't understand that connection, but they might understand the connection with like a sibling. How are you feeling about, being this young Nier? His name is Nier, right?
No, you name him. I named him Dickie Ricky.
I think by default his name is Nier, and that's where we get the name Nier.
Well, when it first asks you what name, like it doesn't have, like Pokemon originally.
Yeah.
There's like red in there. It doesn't have that. It's just it's a blank slate. Name them. So that's intriguing. Anyhow, so for me, so as a introduction to the game, you play as this young boy, and he has a sister who has it's not Black Plague. I forgot what they call it. It's essentially a disease that at this point is uncurable, and your sister is being overcome by it quickly. And so is your goal to save her. If there's no antidote or cure found, she's going to die. And so that is the overall premise, like the very basic premise of the game. So it is, as I mentioned, I'm about 5 hours in. The differences I'm seeing between Nier and Replicant are Replicant and Automata. So Automata immediately hits you with a sense of purpose and more bewilderment. Like it literally throws you in and is like, good luck, mother trucker. And you're like, I don't know what's going on. And then you feel a sense of things are bigger than you very quickly. You start doing side quests, and they're not just, like in Nier Replicant, maybe I've lost my dog. Can you help me find my dog? Or I need wool and mutton and goat hide, and can you go get it? Things of that nature. Whereas Automata's side quests weren't just, I'm missing my friend. Can you go find them? And then you end up finding a way to get into that person's head and figure out that they actually ended up murdering their friend, and then they erase their own memory. And there's just like a lot deeper connection. There is just so many more layers to Automata in the early game. So Replicant, obviously, I'm assuming things are going to get pretty nuts. I can see that they are building a foundation pretty quickly within the first 5 hours that things are going to get wild. You're just not quite there yet. And it's the first game of the series. I'm assuming most start like that. So it's perfectly fine with me. Let's see. So the combat, and I want your take on this too, Alex, because I kept seeing people saying the combat is so much better than the PS3 version. But obviously I never played it, so I don't understand how it's better. So in both games, they are very fast. The combat is very dynamic. Your character is fast. There is no delay in whether you're using magic or your sword. That I absolutely enjoy. Even Kingdom Hearts, I have to admit, you have to understand when to not button mash. It's really annoying. Kingdom Hearts fighting and combat is a lot slower, which I don't like. It's almost like Final Fantasy VII Remake. If you played that game and you like the combat, you're gonna like this. There's differences, but so you have your typical sword that you use. You also, at some point, kind of going into the plot a little bit, have found a book with arcane powers that you pretty much set it free. It joins you, and it is able to use magic to help essentially become part of you, go on the quest to help save your sister. And it is an extremely strong book with many different magical powers. And so you use this book to shoot magic, and it has a big fist too that is pretty neat, that can go and just wallop people, which is just so random. They've got javelins. And so it's a very fast combat. I feel like I'm doing a pretty poor job of actually describing it, because it's just like combat. Like, what do you explain? You hit square to actually engage in physical combat. The R1 and L1 buttons shoot the magic. You do have a magic gauge, so you just can't constantly shoot those. But it's really fast combat. It's enjoyable. It's what Automata is, so I don't know what it was like in the PS3 version to make it worse.
Yeah, so
it's very good now, so I don't know what was worse about it.
So people had a beef with the combat in the PS3, Xbox 360 version. I didn't really have a beef with it, although what ended up happening on the PS3 version was, like, I got a heavy sword, and I learned a combo for the heavy sword that basically did whatever I needed it to do for the entirety of the game. It was like, hit square, square, triangle, and you like fast, and heavy attack and knock the guys in the air, and you just attack guys quickly. So in Automata, you kind of have more of that Platinum game style combat, which is a bit more technical. You learn a little bit of combos. You kind of refine what weapon you're using and cater your attack style depending on the enemy and the situation. So I would imagine that the combat now is a bit more refined, because we've learned something from Platinum games over the past years, to where I doubt it's button mashing in the sense where I can use the same combo for every situation for the entire game, which is what it was in the PS3 version. That said, for the magic style in Automata, for people who have played Nier Automata, which a lot more people seem to have played than the original Nier, the pods have been replaced now in Nier Replicant. They're replaced by a book, the Grimoire Weiss, who is an important character in the game.
Dude, I love that guy.
Yeah.
I first when you told me that, I was like, a book? Dude, this is going to be lame. Dude, he rocks.
Yeah, I thought it was like so stupid when I first played the game. But how did you feel when you started the game and you hear this character? There's a female character, Kaine. Just the game starts off great. Like your first introduction to the game is a black screen and it just says, "Vice, you dumbass," and she just starts cursing him out, talking about just dropping.
Oh, that didn't happen.
Okay, well, that's how the original game started, and I could have sworn that that's how this game started. So maybe I just
I've already forgotten it.
Yeah, if you start the game and you leave it in like attract mode where you don't press any buttons and it's waiting for you to press start, then you will hear Kaine go on like a tirade about Vice and cussing him out, and nice. And all dropping all sorts of colorful language. It's really nice because now the pods had an important role in Nier Automata. Grimoire Weiss has an even more important role in Nier Replicant, but he, in terms of gameplay, he plays kind of the same role. I will say that in Automata, you had these extra abilities like the spikes and stuff like that. I didn't use them as much in Automata. In Nier Replicant, they were a lot more important. So you're talking about the fists. I love when you power that up, you can get like 5 fists growing out of your Grimoire of Ice, and then you just punch guys, and it feels so cathartic and so good. And now that they've enhanced the combat in this remaster, it's going to feel even better. So I'm looking forward to that element right there.
Yeah. So the Grimoire Vice is, as I mentioned, that book that you end up finding. He joins you. So in the, I guess, plot, there was I guess a story handed down from generations and generations that there was one evil being who set apart this. I forgot what they technically call it. Black sprawl is what I believe they call it. That disease that
Scrawl, I think. Yeah.
Scrawl. Yeah. It's taking over and killing people. And so there was that evil being who began that. And Vice, your now compadre, is kind of, they're mentioning, could be the key in that, fabled story, that there is going to be another character to come in and overcome that evil being and cure the disease. And so it's alluded that he is going to be that character, which I think, Alex, is why you're saying he's going to play such a huge role. And they tell you that immediately. We're not telling you anything that you wouldn't know just by simply playing the game. I mean, heck, I don't even know. So that, I think, is really cool. I like the fact that they are, it's tough after playing Automata because a lot of the characters overlap. So some characters that were like maybe secondary characters in Automata are becoming primary characters in Replicant. So I recognize Devila and what's her name, Popla, or whatever her name is.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to put the pieces together. And I don't think it's hurt me playing the second one first, because the plots are different enough. I have no idea what's happening. There were a couple things in Automata that were kind of mentioned that I'm thinking may happen in Replicant just because, but I don't know. I think it's perfectly fine. I am pumped. I'm enjoying the game. Like I mentioned, it's a little slower than Automata is. I felt like they threw you into Automata very quickly. This has had a build up. Also, Alex, I'm playing this, so I often rush into games and try to finish them because we have more games, or I want to see what the plot holds. And I think that isn't always the way to go. And so with this particular game, look, I even did that with Automata. I'm also worried because Automata had a point where crap got real fast, and you weren't able to do any side quests. You couldn't go back and collect items. And it was I would say, fairly early in the game for that to happen, in my mind. So I'm afraid that Replicant's going to do the same thing. So if I want to do side quests, if I want to flesh out the characters as much as possible, read all these texts, I need to do them early. Do you remember, is there a point where it's like, okay, you can't go back? Because do you remember in Automata when that happened? And it seemed very abrupt. And I was like, I wanted to finish that side quest, but you couldn't go back. Do you remember if that happens in Replicant?
Yeah, so in Replicant, that definitely happened. There's one point where you're like, crap, I'm certainly beyond the pale now. There's no way I can go back.
And does it warn you, or does it just happen?
It doesn't warn you. I'm pretty sure it just happens. However, the one thing I haven't played Nier Replicant yet. I don't know if they've changed it, and I doubt they did. One thing early on in the game that they do is they kind of highlight how crazy side quests are in RPGs in general. I mean, the whole idea of Nier when it first came out was to kind of make fun of RPGs with their stupid side quests, where it's like, you're saving the world, but also, can you collect 5 chickens for me? So early on in Nier, you do like a side quest, and the guy's like, are you really, like, you're wasting your time doing this. I'm gonna give you like 50 gold pieces. You can get that by like beating a pot outside. So they really, they try to highlight that these side quests are really, if you just kind of want to do extra stuff, they're not important to do, and you're not really going to get rewarded handsomely for doing them. So if you don't focus on side quests, you're not really missing much. Whereas in Nier Automata, side quests had really important, story elements and psychological you know, philosophical components to it. Here in Nier Replicant, they weren't that important. So I never focused on the side quests when I played the game, and I feel like I really enjoy the story. I would urge you not to worry about it as much unless you just really like the gameplay and you want more of the gameplay. Then maybe you would do that. But if you are interested in the story, then I wholly suggest you just push through the story, because guess what? Just like Nier Automata, you're going to replay through some parts again, and you'll have a chance to do it again. So yeah, that don't worry about the side quests as much unless you just really like the mechanics of the gameplay, which maybe you do this time around.
And part of me too is like I want to fully experience the game. I know some of the side quests give you weapons, and most of them just give you gold, which is borderline useless. You kill enough enemies and stuff that you don't really need the gold. But for example, in games like Kingdom Hearts, I rushed through to get to the end of the story, but then I would have liked to have gone back and gotten a little stronger, or gotten some more of the keyblades, or gotten certain types of magic, and like appreciated the game a little more. And I definitely felt that for Automata too, especially with how in depth those side quests were. So I'm trying not to rush it. And I don't know if that's right, because I really do want to know what happens. It makes the game a lot slower when I stop and I do side quests. Almost, I bet of the 5 hours I've played, I bet 3 hours of it has been side quests, because one, I don't know when that turn is going to come and when I'm not going to be able to finish them. I also want to I'm like, should I platinum the game? Maybe. I don't know. I like the game. If I like it as much as Automata, I'm definitely going to play it again. So then I guess at that point I could potentially, gosh, Automata is just so good. Like,
So
I think it's just so good. Every aspect of it is so good.
So I read a little bit here and there about this game. One thing I would caveat is that although I say the side quests are important for character development, if they give you a weapon, that is important, because apparently in this new version of Nier, there is a new ending, and to get that new ending, an ending E, if that means to you what it meant in Nier Automata, you have to have all the weapons. And that's been one of the criticisms I've seen of this game thrown, was that, like, oh, you got to do stupid side quests to get all the weapons so you can get ending E. So I would highly suggest maybe looking up a guide so you at least know what side quests to pursue. That way you don't waste your time, because some of the side quests are seriously there as like a joke on the player, because that's what Yoko Taro does, is he's joking about how stupid video games can be sometimes. That's what this game is about. Nier Replicant would jump from like twin stick shooter to third person shooter to action combat game, and make references to video games subtly. And Nier, that was Nier Automata. In Nier Replicant, it's less subtle. It's obvious, where it's like, oh, this is the Resident Evil level. Oh, this is the visual novel level. Oh, this is the Diablo level. So even in the gameplay mechanics, it's making fun of other games, but also in like the side quest type mechanics, it's making fun of like Zelda and stuff, where it's like, oh, go break 10 pots and come back and talk to me. It does that too. So don't get too hung up on the side quest, but certainly if you're interested in finding out all of the story of the game, you should probably look into what side quests are critical, because I don't know if this is going to have the component that Nier Automata had, where it was like, oh, now you can just pick any part of the story and then just do all the quests and you're good. I don't know if this is going to give you that.
Yeah. All right. So I think I'm really enjoying Replicant. I strongly encourage you to pick that game up. Even if you want Automata, I can fully vouch that Automata is a straight up stud of a game, and it's only like $20 physical. Play that freaking game. I would beg you. Easily my favorite game of all time. Alex, do you have anything else to say before we jump into the second segment?
I got two things. One, I want to say, if you haven't played either one of these games, play Replicant first, then play Automata. There's little story bits in Automata that will make you like happy with Replicant. However, in reverse, I don't know how that's going to feel. So I'll be interested to see what Adam says when he comes across those things. But I have a feeling they won't even register, because they're so subtle in Automata that they wouldn't kind of hold over until he plays. The second thing I want to say is, Adam, how's the music in Nier Replicant? How are you feeling about it?
You know, it's certainly not bad. It's not as good as Automata thus far, Have
you even done the part where you run out in the fields and she's like dun 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 dun.
Yeah, I've
That's
done
the
that.
best.
I mean, it's good, but in Nier Automata, I remember some of the side quests. You may be doing something trivial, but the music just makes it epic, and you feel like you're saving the world. And this, I even got one of my favorite pieces of the entire soundtrack is Grandma Destruction, and I fought a boss, and they played that music. It wasn't the same. I even went into the sound and I lowered the sound FX and jacked up the music volume because I want to appreciate that music, dog, and I am appreciating it, but just something with the automata music, I don't know if it's how they are implementing it. Maybe I just haven't gotten to the point where I've really hit some of the bangers in Replicant. It's still one of the best soundtracks, but so far it's not holding up to Automata, in my opinion.
See, that's so odd because to me, Automata was good, but it didn't hold up to Nier Replicant, as it were.
I don't know how.
Yeah, I don't get it either. I will say that as the story progresses and you learn more about some of the characters and their significance in the story, then the music plays a bit more of a role. It kind of chimes in at key elements, and you're like, "Oh, that's that song. I get it now."
I never knew Grandma was named after. There's another character, Kaine. Apparently, she has a strong bond with her grandmother. I don't know, fully flesh that out yet, but I didn't know that's where that song came from.
Yeah, I didn't know.
It's about a grandma. Okay, cool. Let's ride.
Do you think her grandma's carpets match the drape? Anyways, that's the end of segment 1. Adam, what are we going to do in segment 2?
We're going to cover some Alvo VR. I am a little angry with Sony. Returnal, baby. Returnal. And then we got some more news, and we may cover some PSVR sales real quick.
All right. Then we will see you with all of that fun stuff after the break. Welcome to Play PS5, Play PSVR, Play PS3 and a half podcast, because we're talking about Nier, which is a PlayStation 3 game. We're talking about ALTDEUS, a PlayStation VR game on the PS4. Now we're going to talk about Alvo VR, which is a PSVR/PS4 game. You only play it in VR. Didn't quite fit into the first segment. It's a game I just straight up purchased. And Adam, I want to talk to you about this because you and I are known as haters of Firewall, right? Have you platinumed Firewall yet?
I won the bet, sir.
So, what is your beef?
You just laugh and move on.
Move on. I don't want to talk about this. What is your primary beef with Firewall, Adam?
Well, first of all, Firewall works about as well as I'm not going to come up with a disgusting metaphor. It doesn't work. You sit in the lobbies, you spend way more time waiting for the game to load than to actually play the game. You, at least, I don't know about now, but you weren't able to play with friends regularly because the thing was glitchy and it didn't work. It wasn't fun. There was no excitement in terms of the gameplay. Everyone took it too slow. I want to run and gun. I want to have fun. I want to laugh. I want to talk about Mormons. And that's something that Firewall just can't give, that maybe after watching your golden stream this week, maybe Alvo has.
Yeah, thank you for the shout out, Adam. Play PSVR Golden Stream was live this past week playing Alvo VR. We had our homeboy J-Brat, Will, Shafe Dog on there. We were all playing Alvo and enjoying
you
it.
sucked. You just kept getting crushed.
Okay, that's not true. I was top of the list every time.
Bull crap, not from what I read. Shafe Dog was worse though. So
the premise of Firewall and equivalently Alvo is Counter-Strike in VR, right? We all know Counter-Strike. team deathmatch, more or less, terrorist versus counter-terrorist, this kind of military tactical vibe. But we all wanted in VR, we all wanted with the aim controller. And that was the conceit and promise of Firewall. And we were all disappointed when Firewall came out. Technically, as a game, Firewall seemed fun. What sucked was playing 20 seconds of gameplay in Firewall and waiting 3 minutes for the next round to start. Or setting up time with your friends to play Firewall and then having the game crash when you tried to connect with your friends. Now, Alvo Vr, I mean, after numerous requests, the developers of Firewall ultimately said, we're not going to listen to you. We don't care what you think about this game. We're not going to make a team deathmatch mode. In comes Alva Vr from developer Outside In Entertainment. Obviously, they just sit around listening to the complaints of Firewall players, and they've made a game which is Counter-Strike in VR, except there's free-for-all deathmatch, there is team deathmatch, and then there's the search and destroy type missions where there's like a mission-based element. In the end, it's a Counter-Strike-ish tactical military, pseudo-military aim controller supported VR game for PSVR. It is $39.99 right now. I think I got it at a discount for $29.99 when it first came out. Like I said, you can use the aim controller. You can use the move controllers, which I have not attempted because why would you do that when the aim controller exists? But in terms of, what we wanted with Firewall, this, I hate to be blunt and straightforward with it. This fits the freaking bill, man. It is a team deathmatch, first-person shooter. And when I die, I respawn and I get to keep playing. None of this.
That is one of the biggest things for me.
Yeah.
Is that, you don't die and you get to sit there and watch your teammates struggle for 4 minutes.
Yeah. And that's the thing is regardless of how, listen, the game is kind of janky. It feels a bit like a beta.
Are we talking like Honor and Duty?
No. It's more solid than Honor and Duty. We all agree Honor and Duty was $1 for a reason.
And it was awesome. Yeah, people loved it.
But you had fun, right?
Absolutely.
The gameplay, although there's broken glitch components, there is the minute-to-minute gameplay that doesn't stop. And that's what you get in Alva VR. It's minute-to-minute gameplay. You're dropped on a map. There are 4 people on your team. There's 4 people on the other team. And you run around the map trying to find a bad guy to shoot. And sometimes you group up with your friends and you're kind of being tactical about it. And it's even better. And that's super fun. I played with friends. We played with Jay Brat and Will and Shafe Dog, and we had no trouble getting together. And it might be because they're really good at PlayStation Network and they know how to join my game. It might be that there was only one game active on the server at the time, so whatever game they join is my game. I don't know. But I was playing with my friends. It seemed very easy to do. And I was never sitting around twiddling my thumb except for when a round ended and we started moving on to the next map. Now, that's where some of the jink comes in. It's weird to be talking to your friends in the headset and then the round ends and suddenly you can't talk to anybody. I don't know what that's about. That's a weird thing. I hope they get it sorted out. It could be resolved by just having a party, but then it eliminates the game chat that we're all having a good time doing. But outside that, I'll be damned. The games feel, the guns feel good. The grenades feel good. They're a bit overpowered, but whatever. The pistols feel good. Everything about this game feels so damn good, and it feels the way I felt when I played Counter-Strike as a young lad on PC, and I am freaking loving this game. They could do nothing to it, and I would still want to play it, 5 years from now. And they are only going to improve it from here on out. So, Adam, part of this discussion in general is to convince you to get this game so we can play it. Because think about whatever you liked about Firewall. What did you like about Firewall, Adam? Name me like 2 things.
I'm gonna be dead serious. I can't come up with any. I hated Firewall.
Did you like the aim controller?
I guess, but
okay.
They even used it in a crappy way. Is it as tactical as? Because Firewall, especially when you get to the point where a lot of those guys who care a lot, it ended up being very tactical. You had your points where you knew you had to get to, whether it was the high ground or a good spot where you can hide and shield. It just became more of like almost a strategy game than, oh, let's just run and shoot and have fun. Like, I liked Honor and Duty because sure, there were some people who wanted to hide and do all that bull crap, but then there were other people, you're just running around and you're shooting people and it's fun and you can hee-haw and scream at little children, and that is what I enjoy, and that you're Rambo.
Yeah.
So is this more Rambo or is this more Firewall?
It's certainly more Rambo. Now, I want to make a clarification, though, because you bring up a really good point. Both games are tactical, but the issue with Firewall is you have to be tactical and you have to have a 90% success rate for your tactics to play out. Whereas a game like Honor and Duty, and even Alvo to a degree, is you are tactical, and say you had a 60% success rate, as in you control a point and you die 40% of the time. But guess what? You're winning 60% of the time, so you're progressing and you're succeeding. Even though you repeatedly die less than the enemy, and that means you're winning. Whereas in Firewall, you die and you're sitting around and waiting. So it's like, what does tactics mean? Here's the one key element I really like in Alvo that I do not like in Firewall, and that is I forget what the technical term is. It's like time to death. I repeatedly would surprise people in Firewall. I would catch them off guard. I'd be behind them, and I would unload what would feel like an entire clip of my submachine gun.
They don't die, right?
And they would turn around and shoot me with a shotgun or whatever. Like, I don't give a damn what the tactical, strategical reason is. You didn't pick the right weapon. If I sneak up on you with a gun, I should be able to kill you, and when I surprise you. In Alvo, that never happened. If I ever snuck up on somebody, I'd shoot him and kill him. Me and another guy run up on each other, and it's going to be a crapshoot whoever wins there, or if somebody's really good at getting headshots, they're going to win. So it just felt better in that sense. You felt more rewarded for thinking strategically, because when you do sneak up on somebody, it's almost a guaranteed win, because it should be. It should be.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Yeah, you have definitely... you kind of persuaded me. You're very close, because this is the type of game I think I would enjoy. The big issue for me now is that we're just going to have so many games to play. Mm-hmm. Am I going to have the time to invest in this to make it worth a buy right now? That's my biggest issue. It seems like everything about Firewall, it's the antithesis of Firewall, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's what we wanted Firewall to be. I mean, I'm sorry to Buxer, the guy that was on our podcast talking about Firewall. We appreciated having you on here, and I understand the affinity people have towards Firewall, especially when they're super familiar with it.
So, I don't have. Do you think there's people who love Firewall for what it is? You know, the people.
Yeah.
Do you think they're also going to like Alvo, or do you think it's just, if you're really into strategy and the tactical formations and the communication, you're going to go with Firewall, and then people like us who are more run and gun are going to go to Alvo?
I think people who like Firewall like that 90%, 10% strategy thing, where it's like, you know, we know where it is on the map. We have to execute with precision and get it just right. Whereas I enjoy Alvo, where it's like, I know where it is on the map. I have to execute with general precision. I need to be right 60% of the time to win. Whereas in Alvo, you got to be super, or as in Firewall, you got to be super precise. So I don't think you're necessarily going to take people away who love Firewall. And I've already heard people in the community complaining that Alvo is just arcade shooter, whatever, Call of Duty idiots. Cool, I get it, but I don't have the time to commit to a video game the way some of these people have committed to Firewall. I'm not going to be entering the VR competitive shooter space. I want to have a good time playing a VR online first-person shooter, and Alvo gives that to me. If I have 30 minutes to play video games at the end of my day, Alvo is going to give me 25 to 30 minutes of first-person shooter fun, not 3 minutes and then 22 minutes of sitting around trying to find a lobby, talk to somebody, talk to some jerk off about his new skin that he had, and then getting disconnected and trying again, and then dying in 2 seconds and trying again. But Adam, here's the thing. This is the perfect segue. Should you buy Alvo? Why would you buy Alvo? We have so many games to play. Adam, we got Maydays coming up, baby. You need to buy Alvo so we can play it for Maydays. For the listeners who don't know, for all these new PS5 listeners that we have, Play PSVR, play PS5. Maydays is here, baby. We did it when we were talking about whole games. We did it in Play PSVR. It took us to our limits as gamers to play a new game every single day in the month of May, but we're going to freaking do it again because we don't care about our lives. We don't care about our families. We don't care about our health. We care about games, and we care about Mayday, baby, because it's a tradition. If you don't have tradition, you don't have life. Adam, how you feeling about Maydays in the year 2021?
Listen, we are doing it for you, the people. That's who we're doing it for. Here's the thing. I'm excited because at first I told you it was daunting. It's a daunting task every May to sit down and decide who is going to play what day, what games are we going to play. But I am excited because after you and I discussed, you pretty much illuminated my mind to the fact that I got some dang good games, son. I got some Nier Replicant. I've got some Doom 3 on PSVR I haven't finished. I might have Alvo. I'm going to have Returnal. I got some Kingdom Hearts I can play. I've got some Tetris Effect that hopefully at some point is going to be friggin' multiplayer. I've got... what am I playing now? There's that my friend wants like Call of Duty Warzone. I don't know, whatever, I'll play. We got Battlezone. Every year we do Battlezone and we're gonna win this time. Matty Matt, join us. Was it Matty Matt who joined us for the first time and then we lost? It wasn't, was it? Who was it? Anyhow.
It was our buddy Bonsen from the whole game. So you probably has no idea we exist. That's right. Still.
Bonzen, join us. We'll win this time. Like, there's so many games. To the Top. I haven't played To the Top in forever. There's so many games that I'm excited for this. It's going to be fun. We're going to... You'll hear us. We will tweet that out. We want you to join us. And heck, if you want to play with us, if you have a game suggestion, we take suggestions. We want to play with people because I'm sick of playing with Alex. I talk to him enough as it is.
Yeah. Okay. Maydays, hit us up. Play PS5. What was it? Contact at playps5.com. Contact at playpsvr.com. Either one ought to work. Hit us up on YouTube in the comment section here. Let us know what games you want us to play. We're going to be streaming them on our YouTube channel. I haven't quite figured out if it's going to be the Play PS5 channel or Play PSVR channel. We'll try to sort that out. Check them both out if you really want to watch us. We've had good times in the past. We look forward to having good times this month of May.
Trainer VR. Boom.
Trainer VR. Rush VR. Baby. When we had the whole crew on. That was great. I want to do it again. A free-to-play game. Maybe we'll do Apex Legends or something like that. I don't know. Something stupid. We want to have fun. Play PS5. Play PSVR. Maydays. It's happened in 2021. I know you were all wondering. Christmas came early, baby. Maydays. Oh, yeah. 2021. Oh, yeah. Adam, you got a topic here that I'm interested in as well, and I've heard people talking about it. We're talking about Sony remakes. Now, I'll just leave it in. Adam, what's got you going about Sony remakes?
So this week I was very upset because I do not like Nintendo. It's fine if you like Nintendo, that's cool. I liked Nintendo when I was a child. The issue with Nintendo is that they keep using the same characters that they created back when they were a giant in the 90s. Mario is incredible. Zelda is incredible. Samus is incredible. Donkey Kong, they are amazing IPs. I love them. They were my childhood. But the issue is I am now almost 30 and they are still having Mario games and Donkey Kong games and Zelda games. Dude, come up with some new content. And that's why I ended up going towards Sony, because they have a lot of different type of franchises. They're not just riding one franchise into the freaking ground. But my issue with Sony now is that I'm starting to see that they are remaking some things. Okay, are understandable, like Replicant PS3 game. I love Replicant. They remade it. Okay, Alex, you mentioned earlier in the break, not during the podcast, but they had a Shadow of the Colossus for PS2 and then PS3 and then PS4. We're probably going to get one for PS5. They're talking about now The Last of Us 1, which had a PS4 version to begin with. They're going to remake it for the PS5. We've barely been, we're not even a year out of The Last of Us 2. Why are you remaking these effing games so soon? How about remaking a frigging game that needs remade, like a 2002 version of Kingdom Hearts? Remake that game because it's clunky as F playing it in a 2002. Yeah, I guess
it's a piece of crap. Make it good, please.
Yes, or so they did for, PSVR, they made Res, but why not do Res? Could you imagine Res in, what can we do now? 120 frames per second or 120 hertz,
I think it's
60
already
frames per
there. I
second?
think it's already
Is it there? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then that explains why. But it would be so, there has to be, I mean, these games,
Yeah.
Alf.
No, yeah.
Mr. Mosquito, put down PS5. Let me feel the mosquito sucking the blood out of that little girl's boob. Oh, it would be so good. There's so many different games they could, if they wanted to remake, they could. I mean, I understand maybe some of these games people are attached to. They love the games. You want to remake them for them, because I'm not going back to 2002 and playing Kingdom Hearts. But also be sure they do a decent job at coming out with new games. Returnal, what we're about ready to discuss, is good. But it's just annoying. Like, I'm sick of hearing about The Last of Us. It's not that good. People, wake the F up. What are you thinking? Whatever.
No,
Anyway,
I do want to pause on that point, Adam, because like I mentioned before, when I first had my daughter, I played through fatherhood games, and The Last of Us was up there with Nier. And I will say that playing through The Last of Us 1, I was kind of nonplussed, not just in the sense of like, oh, it doesn't connect with me as a father, but in the sense of like, I mean, I get it. Yeah, it's like a post-apocalyptic, like zombie third-person shooter game, and the mechanics are kind of interesting, but like to be blunt and pardon my French, by the time I got to the end of it, I was like, I just don't give a shit. Like, it just,
yeah.
I don't care. I don't care. I don't care what Joel does. I don't care what Ellie's doing. And to the same degree, it carried over in The Last of Us 2, where I enjoyed The Last of Us 2. Technically, it was marvelous. And it tried to break cinematic gameplay ground. It tried to be it tried to be as a video game what movies are. Whereas you look at a game like Nier Automata, and it is like, listen, I'm going to throw all these philosophical things on the table, and you're a gamer, you know what you like. Pick them up and chew on them as much as you want, but I'm not going to force it on you. And to me, that's the whole idea of a game, is like, you get to pick what you want and chew on it as much as you want and experience it as much as you want and take as much as you want. But in the end, the game's still good. Whereas Last of Us was like, guess what? You're going to think about what it is to be mean to people. All right. I'm going to make you be mean to people. You're going to figure out how it feels. But Nier's like, you can like kill robots and they think they're people. Like, what, feel however you want to about that. But I'm just going to make you think about it if you want to. If not, check out this girl's butt. And I kind of prefer the latter in that situation. So sorry to go on a digression there. I agree with you. You did The Last of Us 1. You did it twice. And now you have The Last of Us 2 out. Freaking waste of money. I'm not going to buy The Last of Us again. I almost regret buying The Last of Us 2. It was a really good game, but it was like $70. And I don't want to do it again.
Yeah. And I don't want to make this thing specifically about The Last of Us, because although we agree on that point, I feel like there are still so, like, they did a good job with Final Fantasy VII. Okay, that was a PlayStation version 1, a PlayStation game that needed updated. It was a game everyone loved. It's been years. Let me look up when it was made. That is a game. It was
like 1994, something like that.
Yeah, that is a game, 1997. Okay. That is a game that needs remade. It's been 20 years. Yeah. The Last of Us is not that old, and you've already had a freaking remake. Do you know this is? They probably can't do it. I forgot who Chrono Trigger, who that IP.
Chrono Trigger is Squaresoft. They still own it. They haven't touched it. And here's it.
Like, that is one of the best games in the SNES era. Now, I don't know if Sony could get it, but that is a game that needs remade.
So my question is this. What's wrong with the game? What is the game missing that it would need to be remade for? And that's my issue with The Last of Us 1 being remade. What is The Last of Us 1 missing that remaking it would add to? Now, Final Fantasy VII was one of the first like cinematic story games that had these cutscenes and stuff, and it's super dramatic, but then you play the game and it's these weird looking big-headed sprites, and it kind of takes you out of the moment. And so the heavy story elements don't make sense because you're playing with like these caricature characters. I can understand remaking it. Last of Us 1, I don't understand remaking because it's just going to look realistic, but it's going to look more realistic. Like, I don't care. I didn't care about the story at the beginning. I don't care about it now. Chrono Trigger, it looks cartoonish. Part of me is afraid that the reason the game is as resonant as it is because you have that disconnect, and it feels like an anime game, and you can accept its weirdness as with the anime stories. So why do you think a remake would make Chrono Trigger better?
Well, first of all, it is a game that is, to many of us, not really playable. Like, I'm not going to spend $120 and then hook up my Super Nintendo and then play. I mean, I guess I could if I really wanted to, but you could have, like they do with Final Fantasy, they make the characters more realistic. You can now do that, and it really does make a huge difference to the overall immersion of the game and actually playing it. I know technically it shouldn't, but it really does. Some of the music is good. I mean, that game is such a good game, and no one's touched it. I'm assuming it has to be a reason, because maybe the rights of the characters in the game itself, there's some, I don't know, maybe Nintendo wants it, and then Sony's like, no, Square, if you do it, we got to have it too. I don't know what it is, but that's why not look at an avenue like that rather than a game that, like we mentioned, like I know God of War has been remade, right? So
it's been like up-resed, like remastered-ish. Like there was like a God of War HD collection or something like that. That's about as far. And then this new God of War that came out that was just called God of War, it's like a reboot of the whole series. It's kind of like a sequel to the prior series. So I wouldn't say it's been remade. They were just like, all right, we're going to take it and then kind of reboot it and make a new thing out of it, which is, I'm cool with that. Kind of like what they did ish with Resident Evil when they released it on the GameCube again. It's a remake technically, but it's just a different game, and it's better. So I guess my question to you is, Adam, are you upset that they are remaking games instead of making new games, or are you just upset at the choice of games they're remaking?
I think I'm upset that they are remaking games. So I understand there are new games coming out. They aren't or they aren't Sony exclusives necessarily. I know Returnal is, but some of the other games that are coming out aren't. And I'm like, I don't know. The fact that it's just happening so soon, I don't know. I really wish they would focus. It's the amount of games. It's not even that they're doing them, but when you think of the top two in the last 2 years, the top games, a lot of them are all freaking remakes.
Yeah.
Which maybe that's the way our world works, and I'm just not part of that, because that's also why I don't like Nintendo. Like, give me someone other than Zelda. Okay, Final Fantasy is awesome. That was a remake. The Last of Us, that I guess isn't a remake, same franchise. That's fine. What are some of the other games that people just friggin' love? You know, I don't want to get into this. We have too much to talk about. It just aggravated me. Make another game other than the friggin' Last of Us. You just got off.
It's too soon. It's too soon. There needs to be 2 generations removed before you remove it. Final Fantasy VII. Then we had PS2, PS3. Now we get another Final Fantasy VII. That makes sense. Last of Us 1 was PS3. End of PS3. It's technically a PS4 game, and now we're trying to get another one. It's too much, too soon. Moving on, let's talk about Returnal, Adam.
Yes.
Returnal, put out by Housemarque Studio, the awesome, technical, tight, fast action, arcade shooting company, Housemarque. They make good games that feel good to play, and you've played them, you don't even know you played them, but you liked them.
Oh, yeah.
Here's what I did, Adam. I went to GameStop today. They were sold out of Nier Replicant, whatever. I got it at another store. It's cheaper at Walmart, by the way, so just do that. Go to Walmart and get it.
Why are they not MSRP?
Walmart always has like $10 less at launch games. Wow. I don't know why. It's a good thing to keep in mind if you haven't pre-ordered a game. I went to GameStop, though, and they didn't add a Nier Replicant, but guess what game I had in my possession? I brought Godfall with me, which we decided long ago is not Godfall, but it's Godfart. I had Godfart with me, and I turned it in. I said, I rarely do this. I traded it in. They gave me $30 for that bad boy.
That is really good. I cannot believe they did that.
It's really good because if you remember, I got it in a buy 2 get 1 free sale. So that game was free for me,
and it was free for PlayStation Plus. Like what?
Wait, no,
what are they doing?
It's not yet, is it? Wait, was it? And not yet.
I'm almost certain it
I
was.
think it was rumored to be. I hope to God it is. It'd be
Oh,
hilarious.
maybe it was rumored and it
It's gonna
did
be
end up
great if
being.
I sell it for $30 and the next month get it for free. But I got it for free for that buy two get one free deal. Sold it for $30 to GameStop. So if you're listening to this, you still got time. Go trade it in towards Returnal for $30. That means I'm going to buy Returnal. Everybody's issue with Returnal is that it's a $70 game or whatever. What is it? 60, 70, something like that. It's an expensive ass game, and we don't know how it's going to feel. But you can do this trade and get $30 taken off. It's almost half the game price. I'm there for it now. So I did that. I'm ready for this game. Adam, have you seen any of the buzz about Returnal this past week?
I'm going to be honest here, Alex. So you have spurned me into being excited for about the past month, 2 months. I haven't, up until this week, I haven't really cared. I've been like, dude, I am on the Nier train. I don't care. I have something in my personal life going on now as well that is soaking up a ton of time. I don't have time for new games. Returnal, I'm sure, is going to be good, but I'm not going to buy it. I'm going to let you play it for a few weeks. You try to convince me to buy it. Once it goes on sale, maybe I'll get it. I haven't been that excited for it. Then preview after preview after preview after preview after tweet after comment and comment. I haven't seen a single negative thing about Returnal. And the thing that gets me harder than a maple oak tree in the middle of California is the utilization of the DualSense controller. They have said that it actually feels when it is raining, that it is raining in your hand. Not just that the controller is like buzzing, like in PS4, that, okay, there's low vibrations. It feels like it is raining. You can feel drops on the controller. That excites me, because if they're going to do that with the rain, imagine what they're going to do when you are in combat or when you are in other situations in which you can use the adaptive triggers and the other environmental factors. I'm going to let you kind of jump into some of these other aspects of the thing too, but I am now very hyped, because everything that in my dreams that I was hoping this game would be, it seems like it might be that, which means it is a bona fide Game of the Year candidate, a day one purchase, and a game that I'm going to play hard.
Yeah. I mean, it's a bona fide boner is what it feels like so far for me. And here's the deal. Adam, you hit the nail on the head. Last time a game was this hyped, we were talking about Cyberpunk. But the thing about Cyberpunk was we had no previews leading up to the launch of the game. We had previews that happened back in E3, turned out to be fake. We have no previews leading up to the launch of Cyberpunk, and it ended up being a dud. We've had a stupid amount of previews. I mean, the review embargo is not lifted yet at the time of this recording, but people are playing review copies of Returnal and are allowed to give previews. And like you said, the buzz is positive as hell. And the most positive buzz I've heard about Returnal is that it has Metroid vibes. And Adam, I know you love Super Metroid. I love Super Metroid. I love Metroid Prime. You have been dying for a Metroid-esque game. I don't know why I don't play Metroid Prime, but whatever. I get it. It's a hard game to get a hold of. We all want something like Metroid, but you know what else we want something like? We want a roguelike type game, because that's kind of been the genre du jour ever since Dark Souls came about. And here we have Returnal. It is put together by Housemarque, which has this amazing technical ability to really focus on the fun action of the game, the fun factor. They've always made the fun factor a thing and not worried about the graphics as much. But now they've redirected their entire team to focus on the graphics. And they said that we want to make a fun game that's AAA. And guess what? Now it has Metroid vibes, and it's got these roguelike vibes. And we are going to have the audacity to charge $70 for it. And now everybody who's playing the game that knows it's a $70 game and knows it's supposed to be AAA and knows it's supposed to be this new one of the few PlayStation 5 games coming out, they're loving it. And they're loving the DualSense, and they're loving the way it plays and the way it feels. And Adam, I'm so freaking hyped for this game. I can't help but feel like I'm going to get underwhelmed, because everything on the checklist of what I want in the game, it respects my time with a roguelike. It has cool sci-fi story elements with the sci-fi, you die, the time loop stuff. awesome looking enemies, tight gameplay, where it's a third-person shooter with weird weapons and a dash mechanic. And you know what? Here's the thing. A game I liked that a lot of people didn't like back in the day is called Project Number 3. I forget which one. It was a GameCube game, and you played as this woman. I forget her name, but she shook her ass like crazy. But that game ultimately ended up being like a shooting game, like an old school shoot 'em up, and I loved the hell out of it. And Gene Park of the Washington Post, he's playing Returnal, and he said he's getting major PNO3 vibes talking about this game, and that got me hyped more than ever. This game knows what it is. It knows what its gameplay is, and it's maximizing that. And I just can't believe that we're getting Nier Replicant, and then a week later we're getting this game. And I hope to God this game lives up to the hype that I have for it. I'm here to be disappointed, and I hope I'm not, Adam.
What is the reason I'm hopeful and why I think you should be hopeful?
Yeah.
Are a couple reasons. Number one, like you kind of talked about Cyberpunk, the issue with it and the difference is that leading up to Cyberpunk, it was way hyped.
Yeah.
And we didn't, I mean, people were already talking about it, the people who were wanting to review it. And then there was sketchiness in the sense that, okay, they only gave the reviewers the PC codes, not the console codes. So there was a little sketchiness, but it had so much hype going into it. I would argue, Alex, that there were definitely a lot of people be like, oh yeah, I'm interested in Returnal, but it didn't have much hype going into the previews. And then once the previews hit, then everyone's like, whoa, what the F? And that to me is much more important than the hype coming in. The fact that it didn't have as much hype and not many people are talking about it, and then all of a sudden, now you can't go to Twitter, you can't go on Reddit, you can't go on any PlayStation 5 forums without seeing Returnal, I think that's a good sign. And then everything that I've read, it's saying not only, as we've already mentioned, all the components are amazing in the game, but they're saying, I've read so many, or I've played 4 or 5 hours of Returnal, and it is addicting. I can't stop. I want more. That's perfect. That's what you want in a roguelike. That's what you want in a game. And the issue for you, Alex, is you ain't going to have time to play this game. But, you know, I mean, I don't know obviously the gameplay. I'm assuming if it's a roguelike, that means you legitimately could put tens of hours into it. And I feel like for you to get that much out of it, you certainly will still enjoy it. But to get maybe everything that it has to offer might be tough for you. But I hope you find time. This is
what I like about these games, Adam, is that I can commit like an hour a day, 30 minutes a day. I can do like, you can encapsulate it in runs. So I can be like, I'm going to do 2 runs and then I'm going to go to work. I'm going to do 2 runs, then I'm going to go to bed. Whereas something like Nier, it's open-ended. It's like, I'm just going to play until I'm done playing. And I can't, like, you have a hard time stopping. So that's what I'm looking forward to with this game, is that where I know that I'm going to do 2 runs. I'm going to go until I die, and then let's call it a night.
Is it multiplayer?
I don't think so, but I don't know. I'm going to Google Returnal multiplayer right now. I'm almost positive it's not.
Well, because we have PlayStation 5s, I'm going to be playing Returnal while also screen sharing with you so I can see you play Returnal. So we'll be playing together, just not in the same game session.
So apparently it has asynchronous multiplayer, which is like Dark Souls, apparently. I think what happens is you can see where somebody else has died. Somebody's playing the game, dies, and it leaves like a mark in your game map, so you can see where people have died and maybe learn from their mistakes, which is pretty cool.
Teabag you. I'm going to your face is going to be so full of my tea. Oh my gosh.
I mean, that happened in Nier Automata, right? You found android bodies lying around. Same kind of thing. So that it's cool. It's an interesting element. Sometimes it's kind of a spoiler. It's like, oh, it's about to be a boss fight because there's a million dead bodies around here. But I think that's an interesting way of letting you know. So
it's cool.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
All right. So speaking of Nier, I want to play it. So let's move on. We've talked about Maydays, guys. It's coming. It's coming up. We want you there. We want to play these games. There may be a whole lot of Returnal. Alex, are we allowed to play a game twice in the month of May?
No, that is antithesis of Maydays.
Dang it.
You can't play the game twice. If you play the game, I can't play the game. It's Maydays. That otherwise we're not setting the Guinness Book of World Records like we've tried to in the past of one game for 30 games, 30 days in the month of May.
30, isn't there 31 days in May?
Nobody's done it before.
Oh, Listen, here's the thing. I'm going to do the first 2 days of May, and I'm going to play Returnal and Nier Replicant. Boom. Boom,
Damn
roasted.
Damn
Enjoy.
it.
Okay. I don't know what, we've got a couple notes. First thing, PlayStation Plus is going to have movies. I think that's awesome. Not something I super care about, but the fact, I mean, I have PlayStation Plus. I'm going to continue to have PlayStation Plus for the games. If they want to slap on some movies, let's ride. I saw some people upset. I don't know what your problems are, folks. What is wrong with you?
I think there's one cool thing here. I haven't read too much into it, but I know that Sony, they're their own movie studio, right? They're their own movie production company.
They have tons of movies.
They have big movies that they can be putting on this platform to make it good. Venom is a movie that I liked, and I'd love to see the sequel too. So that they have some good IPs for movies that they can put on here. So there's certainly a little bit that we could enjoy. I'm already paying for PlayStation Plus, so give me free movies. I'm happy.
Now, I will say, if they threatened to up the price and add movies, and I didn't have that choice, then I would be mad. But to just add it for free, let's go.
Let's go. Next thing on the list here, PlayStation has renewed the copyright for PlayStation Home. Adam, I don't think you know what this is. PlayStation Home was this weird, like, social virtual world think about like Rec Room, but for grown-ups. On the PlayStation 3, you'd make an avatar, you'd walk around this environment, and there would be other people walking around this environment, and you all go sit down on like a movie theater and watch a trailer for a new game coming out. Some people really liked it. It wasn't quite fully realized, but now that VR is a thing, it would be very cool. Imagine Rec Room, but supported first-party wise by Sony, so it was actually good and not full of pedophiles and children looking to get picked up by pedophiles. So it's interesting that they've renewed the copyright. I know companies do this on the reg, so they just don't lose their copyright, but there's thoughts now, there's buzz that maybe because we have PSVR 2 on our sites that we might be getting PlayStation Home in PSVR 2. Adam, are you interested in a social experience, almost like a virtual Facebook, but driven by PSVR, not driven by Mark Zuckerberg?
I mean, that's honestly why I like VR. So I feel like that social component I get from VR, so I'm not dying for it. I'll take it, whatever. I'm gonna be too busy playing Nier and Returnal. But sorry, I'm on my 589th run of Returnal. See you later.
All right. Another thing I want to give a shout out. The people who made, they're called Inner Space. I think they were published by Vertigo Games. They made Fisherman's Tale, which is a PSVR game I absolutely love. I recommend that to anybody. Great story, great gameplay. Their new game is out, Mask Maker. I should have reached out to them for a review code. I feel like an idiot. I'm going to play this game. It's $20 now. I don't know too much about it, but I just got to give it lip service. I love Fisherman's Tale. This is their next game. It's going to be awesome, I'm sure. $20 in the PlayStation Store. It's PSVR. So there we go. Adam, you have anything you want to say about that?
No, you like Fisherman's Tale. I think, sweet. We should try to get a code, see if that could be the next Powerade play of the game or play of the week. Alex, do you think we have a little time to cover PSVR sales, or should we close it up and go play some Nier?
This is everybody's favorite segment, Adam. We can't leave the fans hanging. Let's go over the PSVR sales. Adam, Loading Human Chapter 1 for $449.
No.
Rise of the Tomb Raider 20-year collection, $599.
Unlike the Project 3, she doesn't wiggle her butt enough. Get out of here.
All right. I do want to say in ALTDEUS Chronos, Beyond Chronos, you look down, you see your boobies there. They're not naked, but you look down and you see bosoms. So that's something we got to highlight. Kona VR bundle for $399.
No.
Okay. Tekken 7, $999.
Listen, if I hear the word Tekken again, I'm going to punch you in the throat.
Adam is the only person in the world who pronounces the T in the word listen. Raw Data, $999.
Actually, not a bad game.
Yeah, not a bad deal.
It's one of the early games. I think you could do better. It's not a bad game, but I just feel like there are better options.
It's a good wave shooter. Ace Combat 7, Skies Unknown, $14.99.
No. I didn't like it. You love it, though. You love it. Bond Sense loves it, so I'm probably in the minority.
I love the flat component for the game. It's worth it for that. Sprint Vector, $8.99.
You were the one who played it once, if ever.
I never touched it. You played it.
No, I haven't played. I don't have it.
I have it, never touched it. VR Ping Pong, $4.49.
We would play real ping pong, you losers.
Arizona Sunshine, $11.99.
Listen, I would rather double fist myself.
But that's what you like to do. Battle Wake, $8.99.
This game is interesting. I had high hopes for it, but it didn't turn out great. I'm gonna say pass.
Vertigo Home, $3.89, baby.
You know what? F it. This is the PSVR buy of the week. That is cheap enough to make you are definitely going to get at least an hour's worth of straight up laughter and humor and entertainment out of this. That is worth your $4.
For $3.89, if you get 10 minutes worth, it's worth it. Elder Scrolls V Skyrim VR, $17.99.
I mean, that's a good price at this point. I feel like if you wanted to play it, you've already played it. But if you haven't, yeah, I would pick it up at that point.
No Heroes Allowed VR, $9.89.
Ooh, I don't remember this one.
Yeah, I haven't touched it. I think it's kind of like that one of those strategy games that you make, like tower defense strategy games, but I don't know too much about it. Yeah. Box VR, $10.49. Yeah,
is
I
it
like
as
it.
Fun as it sounds?
I think it's way better than Beat Saber, but I like boxing, so that's why.
Yeah, of course you do.
Yeah, I know. Electronaut, $6.99.
You know, this cool game, it's cheap. I don't know if there are many people, but the good thing is if you get this game, you can listen, if I remember correctly, to other people's mixes. And so there's probably a ton of them already out there. Maybe worth it. If you want to play a little virtual DJ, it's a good party game, and it's a fun game.
It's just fun to make music for some reason, even if you can't save it. Killing Floor Incursion, $7.99.
Gosh, I want to give it the 2 thumbs up, but just the multiplayer component was so sketchy when we played it, and I doubt they've really worked on it because we even played it late after the release. Buy with a hesitant.
Buy it for single player. It's worth it. $7.99 for the single player is worth it.
But single player, I feel like got boring.
I thought it was fun. Super Hot for $9.99.
But did you beat it?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay.
I beat that meat.
Okay. Super Hot is a must. If you don't have it already and you have virtual reality, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah. Creed Rise of Glory, $11.99.
Play Bugs VR.
Okay, very different, but okay.
I mean, I know, but if you're why would you buy Creed if you didn't like boxing?
So you can beat up kids, yeah. Dance or get beat up by kids. Dance Collider, $7.99.
Don't know this one.
I don't either, and I feel like I'm interested. I'm intrigued, but I'm not going to do it. Batman Arkham VR, $7.99.
Gosh, no. I can't believe this hasn't been free yet.
Yeah.
Like, how?
Yeah. How
what
is it
are
not
they
free?
doing?
Yeah. Give it away, please, quickly.
I'm not playing it till it's free.
VR Ping Pong Pro, $9.99.
They just added the Pro at the end, and
I don't think it's the same company. I think it's a totally different game.
This is awesome. I don't care. I still don't want it. They were like, I'm gonna one up them. They pulled an Alex. They're gonna one up. There's Ping Pong Pro.
Oh, you're VR Ping Pong? Well, we made VR Ping Pong Pro. Very different games, all right? I mean, they're both ping pong in VR, and ours is the pro version. And it's just as expensive as your non-pro. Aspire 1 VR Operative, $11.99.
You know, this Aspire 1, I feel like, is not the game I was actually about ready to talk about. Maybe. There are just so many other good games out there.
Yeah. Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted, $13.49.
No, get Home Sweet Home. That will scare your tits off.
Adam, and that I'm going to circle that as the recommendation of the week. That is a perfect point, Adam. If you're looking to get scared, Home Sweet Home is going to beat Five Nights at Freddy's. We know what we want. Five Nights at Freddy's is kids scary. Home Sweet Home is F you up adult scary. Ski Jumping Pro VR, $9.99.
I'm very confused. You rarely agree with me. Yeah. I was waiting for a punchline.
No, there's no punchline. That was just that was a very good point and recommendation, Adam. Which the punchline might be the fact that you actually had a good point, which is rare.
What's the next game?
Ski Jumping Pro VR.
No.
Carly and the Reaper Man Escape, $9.99.
Oh my! Did we go to Disney World?
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like. No, I'm not playing that crap.
What if it was Carlos and the Reaper Man? Would you be more interested if it was a boy?
It could be Cinder Arum in the Reaper Man. I probably still wouldn't play it.
I would.
Okay, yeah, I would. Yeah.
The Walking Dead Onslaught Digital Deluxe Edition, $19.99.
No.
So here's what's weird. The Walking Dead Onslaught came out. Everybody was like, this game is a piece of crap. I can't believe they released it. And then like 2 weeks later, everybody's like, it's not as bad as everybody said. It's a different game from the other Walking Dead game, but it's actually pretty good. I don't know what to think. I don't want to touch it because it looked like garbage when I saw the trailer. And Walking Dead Saints and Sinners is better than this from what I see. So I'm kind of upset.
Yeah, just don't waste your time. Don't do it.
Gran Turismo Sport, $9.99.
It's a good price.
I might buy this for Walter.
Oh, I love Walter. Play Wipeout though.
Okay, that's a B tier point, but a good point nonetheless. Concrete Genie, $14.99.
This was free, so if you're paying for it now, you're a friggin' fool.
I like that it's free, but neither one of us has touched it, which kind of explains how we feel about the game.
It doesn't look interesting enough to play. That's just how it is.
Super Stardust Ultra VR, $9.99.
Actually, kind of a fun game. It's real short. It's not worth $10 though.
In VR, it's like a knockoff of Battlezone, but it's short-lived. You're right. I want to circle back to Concrete Genie. I think the reason we don't want to play it is because it's about a kid getting bullied, and neither one of us want to relive those experiences from high school. The Inpatient, $9.99.
The game is crap. No.
That sucks, man. It could be good. Doctor Who: The Edge of Time, $12.49.
Doctor Who, Dr. Seuss, One Fish, Two Fish, get the F out of here. Play a better game.
Bluefish, like blow, right?
Yeah.
Riggs VR for $9.99.
Thing is, it's a good game, but it's a lot better with multiplayer. Single player is so shallow, and unless there's multiplayer, I would say no.
Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, $9.99.
I mean, that's a must play in VR. Unfortunately, you're just going to play it and then wish that Resident Evil 8 were in VR, and then it'll make you sad. So I'm going to say, if you wanted to play it, you probably already have. Don't buy it.
LA Noir, the VR case files, $14.99.
No. This game is too woke.
I actually think it's not, but okay. Firewall. I don't think you know what this game is, Adam. All right.
It sounded woke because it said La Noir.
No, it's like a 1960s detective investigation game. Anyways, Firewall 0 Hour Digital Deluxe Edition, $19.99.
No.
Tetris Effect, $19.99.
Oh my! You said this was short list. Freaking Tetris Effect. If I had an aneurysm for every time I had to play that bullcrap piece of trash game, I would be dead right now, Alex. F that game. They can suck it. No, don't buy it.
But you're still going to platinum it soon. I guarantee you, even with me warning you, Tetris Effect is going to be one of the Mayday games that you're going to be like, well, I'm just going to play Tetris Effect.
Well, it's one of the only games downloaded. Yeah. I told you on Sundays.
Why is it downloaded? If it's not good, why is it downloaded?
I effing told you there are 3 events that they run on a weekly basis, and it is a perfect chill down Sunday night, relax, you turn the lights off, you play that groovy, slow, methodical music. You can't lose. It really is wonderful. That's why I have it.
It really is wonderful, but it sucks is the
No, the game itself sucks. It has 3 modes that are worth playing.
Just the cognitive dissonance here is palpable. Adam, Conrad Kittens bundle, $7.79.
Man, if you have a slipper and a wife, or even if you don't have the wife, screw the wife, buy this.
Find some woman who wears a slipper, steal it, pilfer that slipper from her foot, and you now have Conrad the Kitten in VR. Here's the thing. I've played this game more than I care to admit because my daughter likes playing with this virtual cat, and sometimes she gets stuck and I got to put the headset on and play the game. It's pretty freaking good. Like I get involved and I get impressed. And there's one game mode where you're playing hide and seek with the cat and you have a flashlight and you go to each environment and try to find the cat with a flashlight, and it feels good.
That sounds fun.
It's a fun-ass game. And $7.79 is a good-ass price for what you get from this. I'm not going to lie. That's a good deal. I like that. That's a good deal. Demo Reborn, $23.99.
No.
Okay. Iron Man Digital Deluxe Edition, $29.99.
Some people like it. I didn't. So
some people like it. Eat crap. The Walking Dead on. No, we did that. Vacation Simulator 1949.
no, Play Disc didn't like it.
Okay. Pistol Whip 1624.
Good games. It's just so effing hard.
Pistol Whip? You played it?
Oh no, I'm thinking of
You didn't play
oh, what's that one?
You didn't play it.
It's so hard. What
You
was
didn't
it?
play it at all.
What was it? Which one is it, Alex? There's two of them now, and they are so hard.
What kind of game are you thinking of?
It's a first person shooter, and it's
What did you do in the game?
I mean, you have to shoot people who like bad guys, burglars of a bank and stuff, and whatever. Move
You're thinking
on.
of Time Crisis, or not
Yes,
Time Crisis,
thank you.
Crisis Zone or something, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they made a sequel. This is not that. This is like a rhythm action shooting game, like Beat Saber with guns shooting. It's supposed to be good. I bought it, haven't touched it. I hear.
Oh,
it's
you
great.
laughed because you knew I didn't play it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know. Yeah, this was funny. Job Simulator $12.99.
You already said that. Oh wait, no, you said Vacation. No,
Yeah.
Job Simulator probably not either.
I like Job more than Vacation. Dreams $12.99. That's a good game.
That's a good price, but gosh, it's gonna be hard to get in that, man.
No, like here's the deal. I'm not going to make games in it, but $12.99. I can imagine you find 3 games worth playing. It's like an artistic experience. You're paying admission to a virtual VR museum, is what you're paying admission to, and there are good games there worth playing. PlayStation VR World's $10.04.
No.
Okay. Oh Shape, $13.99.
Oh, Ship. No.
Gorn for $13.99.
Ooh. Close, but I'm gonna say there's probably still better games out there.
All right, Adam, you made it to the end of the list. I skipped a couple here and there, but that's okay. We've already discussed them a bit. Good. Hey, congratulations on one good recommendation at least.
I had one good recommendation. My second recommendation is Maydays.
Maydays, baby.
Maydays. Thank you for staying near to us and listening to Play the podcast. Here we're talking about PS5 and PSVR. We talk about them both, but we truly would love you to be part of Maydays. If you want to join us on the podcast, do that. You can talk about the games you want to play, how we need to shape our Maydays. We have all of our games that we accept game recommendations for Maydays. We got 31 days to fill up, folks. We would love for you to play Battlezone with us. I would love to watch your dead corpse and steal your goods in Returnal. Shoot us an email at contact@playpsvr.com. We also have Twitter, Play PS5 Pod. Either one, we will exchange gamer tags. We will set a game up. Heck, if enough of you would play, I'll even freaking buy Alvo. How about that? And we will just have a hip, hip, happy, big effing time on Mayday. Mayday, we're coming. Don't play with yourself. Play PS5.